Vaayu. Mandalam 1, Suktam 2, Rishi, Madhuchandas Vaishwamitra, Devata, Vaayu, Indra, Mitra, Varuna, Chandas, Gayatri. Mandalam 1, Suktam 2, Rik 1.
वायवायाहिदर्शते मे सोमा अरङ्कृताः तेषां पाहि श्रुधि हवम्।
Vaayu, do come near, beautifully visible, these offerings suitably prepared. Do drink of them, do hear the call. Vaayu, the invisible upholder of Dharma. Vaayu has these two wonderfully contradictory characteristics. It is inherently invisible, yet is beautifully visible through the expressions of its traits upon material and non-material entities. Everyday phenomena that can be mentioned as examples are clouds adrift in the sky, the spectacle of what appears to be a never-ending conflict between land and sea, with the sea repeatedly mounting assaults with waves and the shore repulsing it every time, and the almost musical fluttering of leaves induced by a gentle breeze, the rhythmic breathing of multicellular organisms, and dissemination by diffusion in unicellular organisms. Keeping with the prescribed and appropriate approach for the purpose of the well-being of existence, Vaayu is invoked with acknowledgments of its functionalities and offered that all-purpose elixir, Soma plant extracts, as a token gift to metaphorically reinforce his abilities. The entire exercise is viewed not as a unidirectional imploration, but a bidirectional exchange, referred to as sacrifice in Vedic parlance. Mortals offer their time and effort that translates as their entire lives to immortals to express themselves, while the immortals employ their abilities to make living possible for the mortals. Both efforts directed towards a common goal for the benefit of existence. This manner of symbiotic living is called dharma. Mandalam 1, Suktam 2, Rik 2.
वाय उक्थेभिर्जरन्ते त्वामच्छाजरिताराः सुतसो मा अहर्विदाः
Vaayu, invokers who know the sky and soma plant extracts, call you towards them with hymns. Vaayu is much more than wind. The phrase knowing the sky has very much more to it than what meets the eye or confronts the ear. Vaayu, the energetic force, resides inside the bodies of beings, in the different layers of the atmosphere, and in outer space as well. It has these 5 functionalities: ascendance, descendance, diffusion, dissolution, and confluence. Vaayu manifests as forces that perform different functions in the atmosphere and within our bodies, and as a diffusing agent for the background vacuum energy, or ether as it is called, that pervades the universe. It is relevant to note that it is not only in elaborate yajnas that may last many days, but also in short household or temple rituals that span a few hours or much less. The 5 functionalities of Vaayu cited, their Sanskritam equivalents being prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, are acknowledged, celebrated, and venerated. The science of yoga identifies the areas of activities of these functions of Vaayu within the space of the human body. The symptoms displayed due to their being ineffective, caused by afflictions, and the body posturing and breathing exercises to be performed for restoring normalcy. For earthbound mortals, the first association of Vaayu is with the sky and the air they breathe. So are the terms Vaayu, sky, air, and wind used synonymously here. Perhaps mystics who have transcended material bounds explore the impact of Vaayu's functions upon the consciousness and their aftermath. Thus, knowing the sky involves understanding all of this and likely more, and revel in the wonderment of this knowledge and the resultant bliss. Mandalam 1, Suktam 2, Rik 3.
वायो तव प्रपृञ्चति धेना जिगाति दाशुषे रुचि सोमपीतजे
Vaayu, your satiated stream, goes to the givers, capacious for soma drinking. Streams of knowledge and rivers of truth. Seers state that as there are 7 layers of existence, Bhu, Bhuva, Swa, Maha, Jana, tapa, satya, enunciated in the Gayatri Mantra, the first being the earth or mundane level, the last being the abode of the ultimate truth, and the five in-betweens, progressively changing from grossness to subtlety. So are there seven sets of streams that flow in each, that carry the laws of work, the laws of functioning of the consciousness and of the world, objectifying this consciousness. The rivers express themselves differently in each layer, appropriate to the functions of the beings or personifications of truth in the level. At the grossest or mundane level, they constitute the knowledge and application of what is termed today as science and its various laws. At other levels, they are said to convey what is termed as transcendental knowledge. The notion that humans at the earth level can contribute their time and effort to the well-being of those in the other layers indicates that we are all made of the same fundamental stuff, and that matter, mind, and consciousness have mutual influence as the three trace their lineage to the one unmanifest truth. The assertion that oblations of soma plant extracts aid in the fortification of the carrying capacities of the figurative streams that flow at different levels is a recognition of this notion. In this verse and many others as well, anything that has a fluid-like flow is addressed as waters. Truth needs no props to assert, spread, and express itself. Hence, it is said to be always satiated. It is mortals who harbor the eagerness and hope to live this moment and the next in perpetuity, for which they employ knowledge. Their endeavor to spread the knowledge of truth all around is projected as an attempt to invigorate the truth streams with offerings. Mandalam 1, Suktam 2, Rik 4.
इन्द्रवायो इमे सुता उपप्रजोभिरागतम् इन्दवो वामुषन्तिः.
Indra and Vaayu do verily come near with pleasure and delight, because these bright soma drops, they desire both of you. Wisdom from invigoration. Understanding the characteristics of the entities involved at both the physical and mental levels are meant to be simultaneously addressed here with the right choice of words. This should not be surprising considering the fractal trait of the structure of creation that includes every level in which natural laws operate: the physical, the mental, and the mystical. All systems generally operate at a suboptimal state, requiring a stimulant to realize its full potential. This is yet another scenario where the law of inertia applies. On the premise that soma extracts invigorate the physical processes of Indra and Vaayu, their invigorated activities reveal to the invokers, us, a refined understanding, words of wisdom about their workings at the physical level and their parallels at others, which is a return gift to us from the immortals. The word Indu, that refers to the bright drop of sap of the soma plant, explains and establishes this currency of exchange. Realization of potential in us translates as a stable environment in which to live and flourish at the physical plane. Being wise in the mental plane is formulating synergies that maintain this stability. And merging with the unmanifest truth in the mystical plane, as merger is the only option available at this level, exchange of gifts or wisdom being notions of duality. Indra and Vayu were addressed together in this verse because Vayu's functionalities are the tools for regulation as well as inter-level and intra-level synchronizations of the universal system. And Indra personifies the regulatory system with the two divinities always working in tandem to maintain equilibrium. Mandalam 1, Suktam 2, Rik 5.
वाजवेन्द्रश्च चेतथः सुतानाम् वाजिनीवसो तावाजातमुपद्रवत्
Vayu and Indra awaken from soma extracts, living in abundance. Both of you do verily come near swiftly. Purportedly awakening the gods to truly awaken ourselves. The root of the word used to express awakening, chit, describes an activity to do with the mind. Hence, it can be inferred that the invoker strives to awaken Vayu and Indra in body, mind, and spirit with the oblation of soma extracts, hymnal intonations, and intent. The result being the inducement of physical vigor, lucidity of thought, and clarity of perception in them, but essentially to be reflected in a similar manner upon us, the divinities possessing them enduringly even without the invoker's offerings. The epithet, living in abundance, proclaims our awareness and recognition of the status of the immortals in the cosmic echelons in the two active levels of body and mind, the levels of duality. They, the immortals, have to live in abundance to be in a position to grant us plenitudes. But this understanding also points to the truth that at the level of consciousness, the import of the Upanishadic saying, all is whole, that which is taken out of the whole, as well as that which remains after it, applies absolutely. This truth overshadows and overshines everything else, and to know it is deemed the purpose of life. The adjective swiftly indicates the innate trait of the state of duality, alacrity and impatience of mortals for acquisitions of all kinds, material, knowledge, and wisdom, not being conscious of the insignificance of time that defines the state of blissful being, if that is achievable. Mandalam 1, Suktam 2, Rik 6.
वाजवेन्द्रश्च सन्भत आजातमुपनिष्कृतम् मक्ष्वे इत्थाधिजानरा
Vaayu and Indra, manly ones, indeed do come near, promptly by thought, verily to the perfectly made of one who prepares soma extract. The purpose of purposelessness. Mention of Vayu and Indra in any order in this and earlier verses, and the allusion to epithets like King of Gods, All-Powerful, etc., attributed to all gods, is indicative of primary functionalities within specific contexts. As reflected upon earlier, gods or immortals are human constructs of different facets of the manifest supreme. The proportions of their effectual contributions and activities vary according to the environment and purpose of the exertion. That principle which contributes the most in accomplishing a particular task becomes the king, and the others assistants in that context. This hierarchical categorization is primarily at the material level of existence. As one rises up the levels, distinctions gradually begin to blur, to finally vanish completely at the level of consciousness. If a sentence in any language were to express this ultimate state, the subject, predicate, object, adjective, adverb, and particles will all refer to the supreme consciousness. The notion all is whole will apply absolutely. This construct of existence may appear quite purposeless from the viewpoint of the realm of duality that all of us inhabit. But so does any other construct. Perhaps there is a pertinent and preeminent purpose to the property of purposelessness, which is a provocative point to particularly ponder and promptly and purposefully pursue, to become precisely percipient of. The implications of natural laws that govern the material world are unchanging in space-time, which is likely why they are referred to as the manly ones. Their expressions, however, have varying potentialities, being time and situation specific, which perhaps makes the expressions feminine in their functionality. Together, they make existence what it is. Mandalam 1, Suktam 2, Rik 7.
मित्रम् हवे पोतदक्षम् वरुणम् च रिषादसम् धियम् घृताचीम् साधन्ता
I call upon Mitra, having pure discernment, and Varuna, four destroyers, who accomplish thought to great clarity. The manifest supreme frames laws. Divinities uphold them. Two new divinities are introduced here, Mitra and Varuna. While Mitra is associated with that benevolent aspect of the sun that provides succor and nourishment to all life forms on earth, and hence his name that translates as friend. Varuna, on the other hand, though a universal principle, is associated with waters upon earth, primarily the oceans that cover 71% of Earth's surface, and moisture in the air. Mitra and Varuna generally find mention together, alluding to their immediate association as a pair to Earth's water cycle. Both are associated with aspects of Agni, a relationship that is immediately meaningful as both use heat to perform their tasks in the physical plane. Varuna is also called the upholder of the law of works. The name Varuna translates as the one who proceeds with appropriate selection, which indicates strict discernment between right and wrong in the context of maintaining order in a system. The Manifest Supreme frames all laws. Divinities are assigned the role of upholding a set of laws related to the domain they control. Indra coordinates and administers the interplay between these divinities in the role of a regulator. Except for the penchant for personification and the extension of application of the immutable laws of the material realm to those of thoughts and consciousness in subtler modes, this knowledge structure, I guess, agrees fairly well with the contemporary framework of science as a limiting case applicable to the material realm. Situations that are seen as problems keep occurring all the time in every mortal's life, who then seeks their closure with discernment and determination, being aware that this cycle is sure to repeat itself endlessly. In doing so, they, the mortals, conceptually and likely unconsciously call upon Mitra and Varuna all the time to keep these cycles moving, this collective progression of cycles constituting existence. Mandalam 1, Suktam 2, Rik 8.
ऋतेन मित्रा वरुणा व्रता व्रता व्रतस्पृशा क्रतुम् बृहन्तमाशाथे
Mitra and Varuna, upholders of truth, united with truth by truth, have thus obtained vast determination. The answer, never knowable, and if known, then unexplainable. The wonderful harmony, integrity, and consonance that is discernible in the system of existence and in every subsystem within it, if dwelt upon even fleetingly, is indeed the perfect source of everlasting bliss and becomes both the impetus and the pathway to the stated purpose of being, which is to become or merge with the supreme consciousness of which it is anyway a part of the state of being. Upon the material plane, being and becoming appear to be distinct states with a transformative action connecting the two. At the mind level, there is an awareness of their convergence at a distant point that is shrouded in a gradually dissipating mist. Consciousness clears mists altogether, obviates distinctions entirely, merges being and becoming comprehensively, with their union as just be. With the above stated brief as a backdrop, the portrayal of Mitra and Varuna can be well understood. At the mundane level, all universal physical laws represented by the duo that govern material objects and their interactions are skillfully and determinedly upheld everywhere in the vastness of this universe. At the mental plane, they are yet distinct but united in principle and with the principle. At the level of consciousness, they are the truth themselves with no distinctions, as are all other divinities and non-divinities. The question then arises as to why should there be distinctions at all in the first place if everything is one, and why the seeming sham of a theatrical extravaganza called existence? Perhaps it is the answer to this question that every single entity in existence ardently seeks. Immortals to mortals, exalted seers to the wisdom challenged, included. Mandalam 1, Suktam 2, Rik 9.
कवीनो मित्रावरुणा तु विजाता उरुक्षया दक्षं दधाते अपसम्
Seers, Mitra and Varuna, multiple born, dwellers of vastness, uphold skillfully resolved action for us. Mitra and Varuna, universal principles. The notion that despite being conscious of consciousness, the body and the mind are still part of the mundane plane and fully subject to the eternal and immutable laws of material synergies and karma seems valid. They yet have to go through definite preset motions to keep the extravaganza of life going on its long, winding journey. The story associated with Adi Shankara is a case and example. By his birth parameters, he was deemed to have a short life. The enormity of his doings and his diligence in doing them was praiseworthy that compelled appropriate consequences. The immutable laws of nature ensured both. He died at the age of 32, but lives on as an icon of the Advaita philosophy even many centuries later. All divinities, always sustaining the laws of nature scrupulously, underlines this inevitability. The inference that Mitra and Varuna are dwellers in vastness highlights the universality of natural laws or their omnipresence, and as Mitra and Varuna are the laws personified, they too are omnipresent and omniscient, though from the perspective of the mundane realm, particularly that of human thought, they are separately born, both in terms of location, one in outer space and the other in Earth's oceans, and the physical characteristics associated with them, and hence, figuratively, of different sets of parents. But as principles, both, as well as all the others, have a universal presence, formulating, sustaining, and leading every activity in the script of existence to fruition. The non-partisan nature of Mitra and the discerning disposition of Varuna can also be understood from their material constituents. While Mitra is represented by photons, Varuna is equated with the molecule H2O. The former has only one way to act, while the latter deliberates its actions due to its polarity.